time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders on this February 4th at 7 p.m. Please rise for a moment of silence. I would ask that we all say a prayer for the people of Haiti who have suffered so much devastation. Dennis Rami, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett.
Here.
Freeholder Delina.
Here.
Freeholder Polos.
Here.
Freeholder Rios.
Here.
Freeholder Scott.
Here.
Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Here. At this time, reports of freeholders. Freeholder Carol Barrett.
Thank you, Director. I have two reports. The first is the mobile paper shredding event of 2010, sponsored by Middlesex County, will be held Saturday, March 20th, at the Old Bridge Public Works Facility, 1 Old Bridge Plaza, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., or until the truck is full, whichever occurs first. A total of 27 mobile shred events are scheduled for 2010. At these mobile paper shred events, residents are provided the opportunity to actually observe their documents being shredded. Since the inception of this program on July 13th in 2005, the shredding program, the county has had over 9,700 residents, and they've delivered 600,000 pounds, or 318 tons of documents for recycling to our 94 shred events. This is free to county residents. And not only is this program very successful recycling initiative, but it also has resulted in the additional benefit of protection against identity theft, which our county residents deem it to be equally or more important than the shredding paper for recycling. Details of this program and all other recycling programs can be obtained by contacting the Middlesex County Division of Solid Waste Management, and that's solidwaste@middlesexcounty.nj.us, or calling division at 732-745-4170. And hopefully we can make sure that all the towns, so that on their local TV programs, they can get this out. I also am happy to announce that Middlesex County has received over $1.4 million in economic stimulus grants from the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act's Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Program. The HPRP funds will be used to assist individuals and families to exit shelter programs and to enter permanent housing, and to prevent individuals and families from becoming homeless through financial assistance and case management. We have also received over $500,000 in economic stimulus grants for the Community Development Block Grant Program for the creation of construction jobs to jumpstart the community. So I'm very happy for these announcements. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Delina.
Thank you, Freeholder. There are two park projects that I like to mention. In Donaldson Park, we have added a new section to the dog park, especially for smaller dogs. The attractive new area has been very well received by the public. The new section was constructed in response to the request from public for a specified area where small dogs can interact and enjoy play and exercise in a space by themselves. And in Johnson Park, a major project to improve the renovate of the park pond and the surrounding area began on February 16th. While a pond portion of the park will not be accessible to the public, construction will be, at last, we remind you, the park will be open only for park visitors. I would like to mention the Middlesex County Youth Conservation Corps will be accepting applications for paid positions until February 22nd. You hear that, Mickey Gross? Successful applications shall be ready to start work on March 27th. There's a great opportunity for the high school and college students who enjoy working outdoors and who are interested in preserving and caring for our open space. They'll be working on Saturday, March 27th until June 12th. If you are interested in applying for a position, please call Valerie Lescano at 732-745-3064. Did I say the name right, Ralph? No? No, he's busy talking. On the sports front, if you haven't yet sent your team application in for the winter basketball tournaments, please remember that the cutoff date entries are February 19th. All games are played at the Piscataway campus of the Middlesex County Vocational and Technical High School on weekdays, evenings, in March. This year, there will be boys and girls divisions for the following ages: 10 and under, 12 and under, 13 and 14 years of age, 15 to 17 years of age. And the application is being accepted for summer slow pitch softball on March 19th. This year, it will be featuring both men divisions and co-ed divisions. And if you need more information on either the basketball tournaments or softball, check our websites or call Erin at 732-745-4222. I thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Paulos?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. Number of items. I would draw everyone's attention to Resolution 10-280. This is a program that the county is participating in called the Direct Install Program, which is run through Public Service Electric and Gas Company. This program is predicated upon an energy audit that Middlesex County did a number of months ago. I'm pleased to say that we were the first county in the state to participate in the state-financed and funded energy audit program. The audit was done at our North Brunswick complex, which consists of about 16 or so buildings, including our jail, correction facilities, and public works, highways, archives, and so forth. As a result of that audit, a very detailed list of improvements were identified and put into what's called the Q, which is a funding mechanism used by the Board of Public Utilities and PSE&G. Recently, we received notification from our public properties people that our heating system at our archives building actually completely failed and needed immediate emergency replacement. Through our relationship with PSE&G, which we've been developing over a number of months now, we're able to get this project moved to the top of the list. And tonight, this is an authorization to proceed with this program. What's very exciting about it, and it's good news for our taxpayers, is that only 20% of the cost of this nearly $125,000 improvement will be paid for by the county. The remaining 80% is being paid for through the direct install program through the Board of Public Utilities funding with the utility company. That's a $100,000 savings for the county as a direct upfront cost. But what's even more exciting is that on an ongoing basis, because of the efficiency of the unit, we will actually be having a net savings of $3,500 per month. The 20% that we have to absorb as a county will actually be paid over a 24-month period, about $1,000 a month, back to the utility company. But again, when you look at the net savings, we'll actually be saving about $2,500 a month in operating costs for this one individual system. Now, recognizing there's 16 or so buildings out there with multiple heating, air conditioning systems, and electrical systems, it doesn't take a lot of creativity to realize that the savings out there on all of our buildings can be enormous. So we will be moving ahead with not only the direct install program I've spoken with the administrator. We've been having communication with purchasing and engineering. We're moving ahead on two fronts, one through the direct install program with public service, and also through another direct install program through the Board of Public Utilities to renovate and upgrade from an energy efficiency standpoint all of our buildings in North Brunswick, and then doing an across-the-board energy audit of all county-owned buildings throughout Middlesex County, with the hope and goal of improving them to a higher standard to reduce costs and take advantage of these kinds of valuable dollars that are available to us. So, you know, we coined the phrase a couple of years ago. I always said we go green and save green. Here's a prime example of how we're not only going to be able to save the environment by reducing energy costs, but save money for the taxpayers of Middlesex County. So it's certainly a win-win for everyone here. Today we had a press conference in Edison Township with officials, the mayor and police department, and police officials from Edison, the state police, the special task force on safe pedestrian passage participated, in the Department of Highway Traffic Safety, and it was a great. Also, Freeholder Director Rafano came by. I appreciate that. It was a wonderful opportunity to get all the people involved who are going to be participating in a grant that we've received from the Department of Highway Traffic Safety. It is a $97,000 grant that will be earmarked to focus on pedestrian and driver safety, in particular along the Route 1 and Route 9 corridor. There are other elements to the grant as well. We'll be developing a user-friendly website that will knit together pedestrian and safety information onto one county-run website location. We're also going to be doing education and training in some of our community associations and condominium associations throughout the county. Many people live in private community associations and condo associations, and those of you who may live in one realize that police are not always allowed, because they are private roads, to do enforcement. So this is an interesting, innovative way to get education to residents about pedestrian safety in those kinds of residential settings. We're also going to be doing some child seat safety education and training, as well as bicycle safety for kind of our bicycle motoring public throughout Middlesex County. Again, the county will be receiving $97,000. We're also able to facilitate a $10,000 grant for Edison Township, which is why they participated in the event today. And it's unfortunate that Middlesex County is, I think, has the second highest number of pedestrian fatalities and pedestrian injuries because of our highway network. So pedestrian safety is clearly an issue that we should be focused on, and working with the state will be a wonderful opportunity. Last item just has to do about the budget, something that I'd like to suggest to the Freeholder Board. You know, we've been going through budget discussions, Freeholder Director, and I want to thank you and John. I know that the memo that I circulated back in '08 when John first came on board with Freeholder Director, which listed about 10 or 12 different budget ideas, many of them you're implementing, and I appreciate that. And I know other freeholders have had their own ideas of things that we could do to try to improve our revenue side and reduce costs. But the bottom line is we've been around for a while. We're looking at the same issues and the same finances and the same type of programs. And although we've come up, I think, with some new ideas, we certainly need to, I think, kind of branch out. And I'd like to see us do that in a kind of an effective way of creating a financial advisory task force. I'd like to recommend that while we're moving ahead, and we can do this rather quickly, we should create a public task force that would consist of people from the corporate sector who have financial experience. We could reach out to Rutgers and their business management, and through the Blaustein School. The Division of Local Government Services offers services like this to communities and counties to assess and evaluate their budget. And we certainly have, I think, enough people in the private sector that could provide us with an enormous amount of input. I think if we can provide them with our budget, our departments, our financial picture, we can get and become more transparent about what we do. We can get some valuable input from them to give us some new direction and new ideas as to how we can be more efficient, how we can be more cost effective, how we can better utilize our dollars, and put together a strategic financial plan for the next 5 years that, candidly, we're just not putting together on our own. So I think we need some outside expertise to do that, and having people that have that kind of view for finance, I think, would be really valuable. So I'd like to make that recommendation for discussion, and it's something that I think we should discuss quickly and move on quickly, because time is short, and before we just try to move ahead with introduction and movement of our budget, I think we need some professional expertise.
Thank you, Freeholder. Deputy Director Ron Rios.
Thank you, Director. As far as my report on health and education, as far as Rutgers Extension Services, our Agriculture and Resource Management Department gave 2 presentations in Atlantic City on alternative energy use, solar and wind energy, and energy and sustainable agriculture. We have high school students from New Brunswick and Highland Park will receive training by the county extension staff to help members of the New Brunswick community establish gardens and help distribute food to the needy. We have one of our students, Taylor Ferguson. He's a 4-H project member. He's a horse project member, and he was selected by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture as the 2010 New Jersey Equestrian of the Year. As far as Raritan Bay Mental Health Services, our center has completed the lobby renovation using grant funds from the State Division of Mental Health under a capital project. This is the second phase of the project, and we received $50,000 for that. That was done in-house by our Public Property Department, who did a great job over there, as usual, using our resources from within. As far as the vocational school, the Academy is pleased to announce that the following students have received early admission to the following colleges: Vinay Shah to NYU, Ruchika Sharma to Stevens Institute of Technology, and Catherine Materna to MIT. And that's from the Academy for Science, Mathematics, and Engineering. As far as our Perth Amboy campus, we have a senior, Thomas Almasi, has been accepted into NJIT. The Piscataway campus, the ACE mentoring team recently visited the construction site for the new University Medical Center at Princeton, and they were given a tour of the project, and they were schooled on safety measures, and it was utilized by Turner and other companies to help workers stay safe, which is important. Coming from a union background, that was one of my priorities, is educating our workers to stay safe. I was pleased to read in today's paper that we have 15 players from Middlesex County that signed letters of intent, and for football, 4 from Bishop Bar, 4 from Piscataway, 1 from Sayreville, 1 from Highland Park, 1 from New Brunswick, 1 from East Brunswick, 1 from Monroe, 1 from Carlow McCarrick, and 1 from Middlesex. They're going to various colleges: Northwestern, Georgetown, Boston College, Wagner, Temple. And this is great that our youth are using their scholastic ability and their athletic ability to progress. And speaking on behalf of the Board of Freeholders, I congratulate them and wish them well. As far as our college, great things are happening at our college. Craviel Hall construction is still ongoing. Its construction completion is on target for the second quarter of next year. Our head count is up 12.1% for full-time enrollment. Part-time has increased by 4.7%. So total credit hour increase is 9.87 overall. This is, again, great accolades to our Middlesex County College. Great things are happening there, and great people are coming out of there, and a lot of people take it for granted how important it is, how community colleges are, and I have to brag that Middlesex County College is a great institution, and it provides a great education for all people from all ages. We've final approval received for our new AS degree in biotechnology. Middlesex is now the only county college in New Jersey to have a seamless transfer agreement with Rutgers University School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. As far as our health department goes, we're aggressively working to immunize all our county residents against the H1N1 flu. We have regionalized all our flu clinics. We're trying to make them accessible to all our county residents, not just one located in one area, so this way it makes it convenient for everyone to attend. We have clinics left at Middlesex County College on Friday, February 5th from 2 to 8. We have it in Carteret on February 9th from 10 to 1. Old Bridge on February 16th from 2 to 8. Sayreville at the Fire Academy on February 26th from 9 to 11:30 and 1 to 6. And our Public Health Department clinic at 596 Jersey Avenue on Tuesday and Thursday through February 25th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. We've inoculated total so far over 60,000 people in Middlesex County, and I think that's a great number that we've reached out to inoculate against the H1N1. And I can tell you firsthand that I attended one of our clinics that was in East Brunswick at the East Brunswick Square Mall, and it was just a professional job done by everyone involved, and it was complete teamwork, absolute teamwork from our local health department through OEM in East Brunswick, police department in East Brunswick, EMTs in East Brunswick. So again, it's great accolades to our health department. Tonight, we're applying for over $800,000 in grant funding for various things to help our health department, and we will be accepting tonight in grant funds over $99,000. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Freeholder Scott?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. On tonight's agenda is an agreement between the Monmouth County Juvenile Facility and Middlesex County Juvenile Facility, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to vote for that tonight. This has been an ongoing discussion between Monmouth County and Middlesex County. The agreement is a 10-year agreement. It's to house 37 juveniles from Monmouth County into a Middlesex County juvenile facility. And this will bring in $2,500,000 into Middlesex County's revenue. It's a 10-year agreement. The agreement will say that we're going to house 37 juveniles. Should they have a need to house more than 37 juveniles, and should we have space for it, they will be charged $225 per day, per diem, for that. Middlesex County will not be responsible for transporting the juveniles. Monmouth County will do the transporting. The juveniles will be in a facility that is an accredited facility and one of the best in the state from Monmouth County. And I also want to say that not only will we bring in revenue for the 37 juveniles for $2,500,000, but we also will get money from the educational facility and from the nutrition program that's run through the state. That money now is going to Monmouth County, and that money now will come to Middlesex County once we start housing them. And I think this agreement is a win-win situation for all involved. It's a win-win situation for the kids from Monmouth County coming into Middlesex County. It's a win-win situation for Monmouth County, who will their monies will not be spent in a facility. They will have a savings. Middlesex County's revenue will be built up over 10 years of $20 million plus. Transportation of these juveniles, whether it's to court, whether it's to a hospital, will be done by Monmouth County. Should there be a problem with Monmouth County coming down here and transporting the juveniles, Middlesex, of course, will do it, but they will be reimbursed for doing it. And on whole, I think it is a win-win situation, and I think, and it's assured services, that we are definitely looking out for the taxpayers of Middlesex County and Monmouth County. And I hope my Freeholder colleagues will vote in favor of it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Valente?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. First of all, the Federal Administration on Aging commissioned a national survey by the University of Maryland to determine client satisfaction at random federally designated area agencies on aging across the country. Our County Department of Senior Services was included in the survey and obtained a very high ranking nationally. Approximately 96% of respondents were highly pleased with the information and assistance provided, said the person they spoke with was very courteous and they would recommend calling the office to other people. Congratulations to their senior service counselors who consistently provide compassionate and needed help. The Department on Aging 2010 Senior Health and Fitness Calendar, I believe we distributed to the freeholders, is being distributed also to our senior residents with the intent of promoting healthy aging. The 2010 census will be critically important to ensure Middlesex County obtains a share of federal funding for various projects and services and for congressional representation. Our Department of Senior Services has partnered with the Census Bureau to help get seniors counted. One of their efforts included designing a visor with the Census Bureau paying for $500 to send a message to seniors about their importance in the census. We provided those sensors for the members of the Board of Freeholders. Going on to Human Services, I want to state that we did have the Council on Children's Services, which is part of Human Services, our joint interagency meeting that took place already back on January 19th. And the whole purpose was to make sure that everybody knew what was being funded and what kind of services were being offered, so that the judges, public defenders, prosecutors, and probation with information regarding their program. This meeting information was disseminated, which will be useful over the course of the year. On the 27th of January was the day that was designated by HUD. We conducted a point-in-time count 2010. It's a survey throughout the county's 25 municipalities. This annual service will assist in developing a snapshot of the number of homeless persons living in unsheltered, either outside or in transitional housing or emergency shelters. Tom Salheimer, Bridget Kennedy, and I visited the two sites where they would be counted. One was Elijah's Promise, our soup kitchen on 18 Nelson Street. There was a big crowd that came in around 11 a.m., which they don't open any sooner than that. And there were many, many volunteers there and took the information. We still haven't completed that. But during the 2009 survey, there were 800 homeless men, women, and children that were counted in Middlesex County. And this count usually reflects only a portion of those individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness in the county and the state. County Human Services officials estimated that 2,630 adults and children were homeless during the year 2009. In last year's count, hundreds of individuals were surveyed at the New Brunswick and also at the Salvation Army site in Perth Amboy, and again, they had quite a group of people that came in to be counted, and in the process, they were fed, and they filled out the sheets. They did get clothing, especially coats, etc. The Robert Mulcahy III, the chairman of Coming Home of Middlesex County, which is our 501c that we have established, said that we will implement Middlesex County's 10-year plan. Its leadership works closely with the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, who have supported us following a strategic plan to end homelessness and create affordable, accessible, supportive, and permanent housing for persons and families in need. I have to say that day, on the 27th, various entities were there to give some help to those that came, and it was interesting to see that even the Dental Society of New Jersey was represented, as well as other groups. Social Security had a desk in all of these. And we did give vital dental, medical, and other healthcare services and resources at that time. It was a cold day, as it is in January, but the turnout was very good. It's only a portion of those that happen to come by. We also get our numbers from the Board of Social Services because they're in the business of giving general assistance. So we don't have the final count yet. We will at some point in the near future, and we will certainly announce it. let me see. I'm sorry, I have so many things in here that I can't keep up with it. A resolution was received from the Board of Freeholders of the County of Sussex expressing opposition to changes in the cost-sharing arrangement between the state of New Jersey and counties for the maintenance of county patients in state psychiatric facilities. The change it's a cost-sharing arrangement between the state and counties to the maintenance of county patients in state facilities from the historical 90% to 85%. And the action really is against the government study commission, whereby the governor has been informed that we don't agree with this idea of not helping the counties with this item. And it was very interesting that Sussex County voted unanimously, all the freeholders. Now, as to McFoods, as I've said before, we have an epidemic of homelessness and an epidemic of hunger in Middlesex County. I was invited to come to Edison to visit one of the food pantries that is run by volunteers, and I believe that our freeholder clerk, Margaret Pemberton, met me there because that used to be her church. And the councilman, the chairman of the council in Edison, Mr. Tamaro, Charles Tamaro, was in charge of all the volunteers they had. And inside the church, to keep them warm, was quite a big group of people that had come in to take some food. There were, across the board, young, old, middle-aged, whatever, and even young men that didn't have a job, that were in desperate situations. And they thanked me for being there and for coming. This group also does provide a meal, a hot meal. It's every other Saturday, and the church members were all there working and volunteering, and I have to commend the particular church in Edison, which is right, we pass it very often, and sometimes I didn't even know it existed, that it was there. Quite a busy place, a small church, but serving a lot of needs. Last but not least, I received from McFoods, which is our county outreach center where foods are distributed. Oops, I had it here somewhere. Oh well, here we go. Jennifer Apostle of the MCIA is the person that is in charge of McFoods. For those of you who don't know what McFoods means, this is where we have a huge warehouse, and it's not big enough. We have tons of food that are collected through various organizations and outreach distribution services. And needy county residents, actually, a lot of them are local food pantries, soup kitchens, and other emergency food providers that utilize the McFoods. It's open once a week, and we serve about 70 food pantries and soup kitchens throughout the county in our network. There are about 25 additional agencies, including residential facilities, shelters, social service agencies, programs for women and children, senior citizen housing facilities, and other outreach services that are also a part of our network and benefit from the food that is donated to McFoods. There are all kinds of drives going on, and this past year we were able to collect more food than ever before. And right now, the largest single food drive is taking place this year is the Middlesex County Spring School Food Drive. 164 schools, both public and private, participated in this 14th annual Middlesex County Spring School Food Drive and brought in about 57 tons of food donations. In 2008, 161 schools participated and collected 51 tons. Later on this year, we will be awarding resolutions to those schools that brought in the most. But I have to say, once more, our Middlesex County Academy takes a prize again. They were in competition with each other, each class, and I know that the principal offered a pizza party to the class that brought in the most food. And it was the same group that won last year. Now they are seniors. So thank you so much for helping us and for donating to McFoods. This is a very long report that Jennifer sent me, but quite inclusive of what is going on with the lists of all the groups that have had collections and sponsorships. And that's the end of my report, Freeholder Director.
Thank you, Freeholder. I just have a few things to report. On tonight's agenda is Resolution 10-274, which is to authorize an agreement between Middlesex County and the New Jersey Small Business Development Center, allowing them to continue to provide counseling services here at our county administration building. By offering a space, this offers space to business people who can meet one-on-one with counselors. We are helping our residents advance their business ventures. They offer detailed guidance in the preparation of business plans, marketing, sales techniques, cash flow management, and record keeping. Appointments are available the first and third Wednesdays and the fourth Tuesday of each month through December. In the few months that we had this arrangement in '09, there were 24 appointments during that time period, so it certainly is a good program, and I support it and hope the board supports it. I want to comment on two things that freeholders commented on in their reports. First of all, the saving the 80% of the cost of the HVAC at the archives is certainly good news for the taxpayers of Middlesex County. And secondly, I want to comment on the shared service arrangement, the resolution that hopefully will be added and voted on later on. That's a good news story. That's a perfect example of reaching across party lines, reaching across county lines, and making a shared service work. It benefits the county, it benefits Monmouth County, it benefits the taxpayers, most importantly. And two other quick comments. I received a letter advising me that the Township of East Brunswick is celebrating its 150th anniversary sometime in February 28th. They're going to have a ceremony at the library, so hopefully we'll have a resolution to present to them at that time. And lastly, tomorrow I have the pleasure of being on Spotlight Middlesex County with Deputy Director Ron Rios and our host, our County Administrator, John Polomina. So I think we'll have fun. That's all I have. Okay, moving on. We need to deviate from the regular order of business to introduce one ordinance. The clerk will read the ordinance by title only.
Bond ordinance, amending bond ordinance number 332, various 2001 capital improvements, and bond ordinance number 362, various 2006 capital improvements, heretofore finally adopted by the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, on April 19, 2001, and March 2, 2006, respectively, both as amended and supplemented, to amend the descriptions therein, authorizing the public hearing to be held on Thursday, March 4, 2010, at 7 p.m. and publication thereof.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 386 on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, seconded by Freeholder Valente. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Delina?
Yeah.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano?
Yes. Is there a motion to resume the regular order of business?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to resolutions. I believe we have one resolution.
Yes, recognizing Marion Bruno of East Brunswick Township on the occasion of her 98th birthday.
Wow.
Marvelous lady.
Yes, and I believe you presented that, too, I think, at the dinner, didn't you?
Mayor Stahl was able to present
Okay.
it to her.
Okay, so I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, and seconded by Freeholder Valente. A roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Delina,
Yep.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Absolutely, yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes, and I'd like to say something. I met her last year for the first time, and what an amazing lady.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes. Correspondence?
Each freeholder has been provided with a list of correspondence received by the clerk's office since our last meeting. This correspondence will be kept on file in the office of the clerk of the board for reference.
I need a motion to accept the correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to accept the minutes of this board meetings for December.
Excuse me, it's 3rd and 17th.
Okay.
Sorry.
So December 3rd and January.
17th, 29th, and January 7th.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Mr. Kelso. Resolutions to be amended,
There are none.
resolutions to be added.
Yes, with reference to the shared services agreement referred to both by yourself, Director, and also Freeholder Scott, this resolution to be added would be to authorize the execution of a shared services agreement with Monmouth County regarding housing of juveniles at Middlesex County Juvenile Detention Center, July 1st, 2010 through June 30th, 2020, $2.5 million per year. We need a roll call vote on it.
Okay. I need a motion.
Offer.
Any second?
Second.
Question?
Sure.
I'm in favor of the concept of the shared service. I think it's a wonderful thing, but I'm wondering if we could get a fiscal analysis. We merged juvenile and adult corrections, Millie, and we had INS pull out several months ago. But I don't know there was any structural adjustment to account for the fact that we lost the $3.5 million in income. So I'm trying to understand how we're actually netting out $2.5 million if we lost that, and we didn't make any structural adjustments to offset the loss of that revenue. So could we get at least a financial analysis, because I think we need to look at it in the big picture. It's nice to say we're making $2.5 million, but we lost that. I never got any report from anyone indicating how we were making up that loss. So maybe we can put a fiscal picture together. I'm not going to vote against it. I'm going to vote in favor of it, but I think we need to do some analysis to understand what the real net cost is going to be, and actually what the real net revenue stream will be, if in fact there is one, because they're both combined now.
Well, I don't understand. What do you mean both combined?
Well, we merged. We have it all under one, under the warden now, juvenile and adult corrections.
Yeah.
So the point is we lost $3.5 million of income from adult corrections. We never made any structural adjustments to account for the loss in revenue.
But
Obviously, we didn't.
I don't think the juvenile facility, the revenue we're getting from the juvenile facility has anything to do with revenue that you're questioning in reference to the adult facility. This is revenue I think is coming in for the juvenile facility from Monmouth County. This is revenue we're bringing in. It's $2.5 million coming in.
Right.
That's only strictly for juvenile. Has nothing to do with adult.
No, I understand it, but when we look at it, it's now one total department. I'm just saying on a cumulative basis, if we lost $3.5 million in income and didn't make any structural adjustments to adjust for the loss in income, we're taking in $2.5 million. Are we really netting $2.5 million? Are we netting $1 million? Are we in the black? Are we in the red? We haven't seen a real fiscal analysis to determine what we're doing from a staff, full-time equivalents of employees, what the loss in revenue was. So I'm just saying I think we need to get. We should maybe ask the warden to make a presentation to say, fine, here's where we were a year ago. We now have an empty pot. We now have this much in revenue loss. We now have this much in extra staff or time or overtime. And we're taking in this revenue, and maybe thankfully we are, because now we're hedging against what we actually lost a year ago. I don't think we all have a sense. I don't know, maybe someone does here on the board, but I don't have a real sense or handle around where we actually are on a total fiscal basis for corrections.
I'm going to ask the county administrator to respond.
Yeah, I think you need to, even though from an organization standpoint, both the adult correction and youth services were combined under the warden. Back last year, there was savings relative to what I'll call management staffing that was saved. Taking that into account in the 2009 budget, and now again in the savings in 2010, you look at the youth services and adult corrections and their operations. Within youth services, what is being proposed tonight by resolution is the sharing of the facility similar to what Somerset would now Monmouth County. By doing that, since our facility has the capability of up to 100 juveniles, this will allow Monmouth to basically to use our facility to pay us for that, which results in a revenue generation, and more importantly, it's a tax savings to our residents, as Freeholder Scott had indicated, to the tune of $2.5 million a year, about $20 million over 10 years. When you look at the adult corrections, and if you look at the budget that was unveiled a couple weeks ago, you'll notice that in the revenue section, and we'll go through that during the work session next week, you'll see with the revenues from the loss of INS, it's in excess of about $5.7 million. So to answer your question, Freeholder, clearly there's an additional deficit in revenue that we're not realizing at this point in time due to the fact that we indeed no longer provide the staff with the INS inmates at our adult correction facility. One of the things that I know that Chief Warden and the staff are doing, working with Millie Scott, are looking at other opportunities with shared services with other counties as it relates to potentially providing, utilizing our additional capacity that's now also available in the adult correction facility. What we will do to address your comments is that during the work session there will be financial information that shows the revenue gain in the youth services along with the current view of adult corrections, which shows the revenue loss. In light of that, it will also show some of the things that we've done to also reduce our expenses to offset some of those revenue losses, but clearly all of them are not there. But we are very aggressively working with surrounding counties to see if our now available capacity at the adult correction facility can be utilized by them, which will then re-up the revenues. But that will be also discussed at the work session with the financial information at that point in time.
That's great. I appreciate that. I think we'll have a better picture then as to exactly where we're at, because that piece of the puzzle has kind of been missing during our conversation. But again, I think this is a good initiative in and of itself. Thank you, John.
Okay, there's a motion by Freeholder Scott to add what will be Resolution 10-281 to the agenda. It was seconded by Freeholder Valente. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Barrett.
Yes.
Freeholder Delina.
Yes.
Freeholder Polos.
Yes.
Freeholder Rios.
I commend Freeholder Scott for her hard work and making sure that this happens, because obviously this is a plus for Middlesex County and taxpayers, and I vote yes.
Freeholder Scott.
No doubt in my mind, I vote yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes.
And again, that'll be Resolution 10-281 on the consent agenda.
Mr. Kelso, do we have any resolutions to be held?
There are none.
Resolutions to be voided?
There are none.
At this time, I'd like to open to the public discussion on resolutions listed on the agenda. Remember, there's a 5-minute rule.
Right here.
Give it more.
I'll distribute it.
Good evening. My name is Dorothy Cardi Daniel from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, and I'm a commissioner on the Perth Amboy Housing Authority, actually the chairperson. And I've been a member of the authority for 26 years, longer than some of you have been alive, I'm sure. But I rise tonight in anticipation of a positive vote on the resolution that pertains to us for the Perth Amboy Senior Enhanced Living Facility, which is a project that we've been trying to get taken care of for a number of years. And for the first time, I think I can take a breath because I think it's going forward. I want to especially thank Mr. Pulamino for all the effort that he's put into helping us to get this information to you in anticipation of your vote in favor of it. I want to just say I thank you. I thank you so much. Our Board of Commissioners, our chairperson, our director, and our staff people, and especially those residents that we will be housing. Thank you so very much. One of the things that I did want to also mention is accompanying me is Mr. Fernando Gonzalez, who's also a commissioner on the Housing Authority, and he's also one of our council people in Perth Amboy. And he can tell you also how hard we have worked on this. But I would like to offer you an opportunity if you are interested. And you don't have to answer me now, but I would like a general indication of a yes or a no. One of the things that we want to do with this building is to put in a social services component, especially on our first floor of this building. And we already have a contract with the Jewish Renaissance Facility. They have been in one of our other senior buildings. They have doctors there a couple days a week where our residents can simply just come down on the elevator and see the doctor whenever they need to. We're going to have someone there that is a social worker that can facilitate programming for them. In addition to that, this has been my dream, to have a county facility located in that area, in our first floor area there. One of the county programs that we could, that you would suggest that especially would be of interest to seniors for the people on the northern end of Middlesex County, the Carteret, the Woodbridge, the Perth Amboy, South Amboy, Sayreville area, because we are on a bus route. The building will be on a bus route, and we would love to have a satellite of one of your offices to use part of that facility so that we can offer that service to the residents of Middlesex County. We don't know what you would want there. I personally think it might be something related to Office on Aging or one of the components of that. But if there's any, I don't need you to say yes. I just need you to say possibly. And then we would be able to. But no, we would be able to work that into the information that we're sending down to HMFA to let them know something will be in place.
What
that
about if we
hopefully,
said it's something we'll take a look at?
excuse me?
What about if we said it's something we'll take a look at?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I said, what about if we said it's something we'll take a look at?
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Okay.
Because I'll take that back, and it'll be part of what we send there. Just letting people know that we really want to extend the services from the county, because a lot of times the elderly can't get to New Brunswick all of the time. And I know New Brunswick, Woodbridge has some offices there by the high school that they offer services. And we have in town now, since we have a new mayor, we have the surrogate's office that comes in, I think once a week or something, which is a help to people, because when you get older, you don't always drive that much. You know, you have issues. So I don't want to take up more of your time, but in anticipation of a positive vote, I need to say thank you from the Housing Authority.
Time.
And personally, thank you, thank God for you, from me.
You're welcome. Anybody else in the public? On first call, second, third?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rios, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Any requests from freeholders
Hold on, before you go. If you want to see somebody that lives there, see Jane Brady, if you have any problems. She's on duty 24 hours.
Oh, my.
She's a great person. Don't worry, she'll help you out.
Oh, we know.
Are there any requests from freeholders to have resolutions removed from the consent agenda?
I have a question on 264. Did anybody get a copy of the agreement? 10264?
Which one is 264?
That's That's the one. with-
That's what we discussed in, at the conference
I
meeting.
have copies of the agreement here if you'd like to ask questions, Freeholder. What we did was to incorporate the suggestions that you had made on Monday evening.
Okay. Maybe I could just take a quick look. Sure. Is this going to be paid by voucher?
It's going to be a budget to be approved by the engineer's office before any monies are provided, and the money will be held in escrow, and it's intended to be done through an approved budget.
Okay. Just recommend that I think my experience has been if you do it by voucher, you have more control over what's actually being expended. Wouldn't you agree, Al?
What? There's no difficulty with that. We can incorporate that.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Anybody have anything to be read separately? Jimmy?
No, it's good.
Okay. Okay.
Freeholder Director, a motion then would be in order to accept the consent agenda consisting of resolutions 10-196 through resolutions 10-281.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rio, seconded by Freeholder Valente. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett,
Yes.
Freeholder Delina,
Yep.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rafano.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting to the public. First call. Second. Third.
Motion to close.
I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rio, seconded by Freeholder Barrett. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Director Rio, seconded by
Everybody.
Freeholder Barrett. Meeting adjourned.